Hey everyone, so I got hired for a private event for tomorrow and they want me to do a stripped down, like acoustic type vibe. So it got me thinking, some of you may be wondering, what exactly do I need to play my first solo acoustic gig? And I thought this would be a great opportunity to show you what I'm gonna bring and also to go over exactly what you will need. And it really doesn't have to be complicated. So let's check out some of this gear. Okay, so the first rule that we need to always put into practice is assume that whatever venue you're going to play, nothing is going to be provided. Even if they say that they got speakers or chairs or whatever, always assume that you need to bring your own gear because you want to make sure that it works every single time and that you can perform consistently. All right, now the meat and potatoes here, the guitar of your choice, whatever it is. You know, I don't. I know that I like to play a Taylor T5Z Pro, so that's what I'll be bringing to my gig. The second thing that you probably want to establish is whether you're going to be standing or sitting at your gig. Now, if you're standing, you're going to want a good guitar strap, something that's going to be comfortable in case you have to play for a few hours. And the second thing will be, if you're sitting, you want a nice chair so that your bum doesn't hurt. Me personally, I like to use a drum throne because they're easy and compact to pack up and they're comfortable. Okay, so I know this sounds really obvious, but you're going to need a guitar tuner, and you can do the ones that clip onto the headstock of your guitar. Those are super easy and simple. Or what I'm using for this gig is, I'm also using this Polytune pedal, and this is my tuner, and I'm using it on a small pedal board. Also, which brings me to my next point, you don't have to have this item. Some people might argue with me, you really don't have to have it. If you're playing a bigger gig where you're not in control of the sound, yeah, you'll want a DI. Me, I personally always have a DI because I like being able to shape my own sound. And this LR Bags Direct Box has a preamp on it, and it allows me more control over the tone shaping of my guitar. But you do not technically have to have this if you're running your own sound. You're not going to have to worry about sound degradation through a long cable usually. You're going to be closer to your gear. Another item, your capo. If you play songs in different keys and you like to keep the same chord changes or whatever, you never know when you're going to need a capo. It seems silly and stupid, but I use them a lot and you never know when you might need one. So a capo. All right, so another thing that you're gonna need will be, if you're singing, you're gonna need a microphone. You can't forget a microphone if you're playing this gig alone, because I'm sure you're gonna be singing. And then you're also gonna need a microphone stand. Now, another thing that's actually really helpful is if you're using some sort of music app for your lyrics and your chords, you're going to need some sort of attachment to go to your microphone stand. This is a little Hercules phone holder that I put on my microphone stand for my music whenever I'm playing a gig. Also, don't forget that you're gonna need a guitar stand for your guitar when you're not playing, so that's easy to forget too. Now, this next part is pretty important. You're gonna need a amplifier, you're gonna need a speaker. Now, I would go with a powered speaker, that way you don't have to carry around any extra attachments for this. And also, this is where it can get a little convoluted. You don't technically need another device to run your speaker, because most speakers these days have two XLR combo jack inputs on the back of them, and you can really just run your guitar and a vocal into them. So if you had to, you could go very bare bones and just have your guitar going into a powered speaker. But in this case, I'm gonna be using the Yamaha mixer right here. It's just a little 2-channel mixer, and I can plug everything into this thing, and I can have more control and ease of use on my sound because it'll be sitting right next to me. So this is something that I'm gonna be using at my gig, and when we get there tomorrow, I'll show you how everything's all hooked up. Cables, because you're gonna need cables in order to run all the gear that you've got. Either way, even if you're doing a bare bones minimum setup, you're still gonna need at least a 1/4-inch cable from your guitar to your speaker or mixer. You're gonna need an XLR cable to go from your microphone to the speaker or mixer. And then I always like to carry with me a extension cord and a little strip, power strip. So just keep that in mind whenever you're playing. You're gonna need some cables, And I always try to carry at least one extra cable with me just in case something happens. Last but not least, don't forget you're also going to need a stand for your speaker that you're using, because in most situations you're going to want to have the sound elevated so that you're not blaring someone's ears out at, eye level. So keep that in mind. Again, this is a lot of extra gear on my end because I have very particular sounds and how I like to run things. Now you can do a much more bare bones minimum setup, so don't get caught up on you having to have all of this very special gear. Don't be like me. Just don't. I'll see you guys tomorrow at the gig. All right, everyone, it is gig day and I've got all my stuff packed up. Let me suggest to you that you might want to invest in some good carrying bags for your gear because that'll make your life a lot easier. And that is all my stuff packed up and ready to go. So let's load it and get to the gig. I'm back from the gig and everything went smoothly, but I did want to make mention of one last thing that you probably always want to carry with you to a gig. Always bring some extra batteries because most acoustic to electric guitars run off of a 9-volt battery, and if yours dies, you don't want to be screwed. So make sure you carry those with you. I hope you guys found this video helpful, and if you did, please like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.